culture and tradition, social life, culture and tradition, social life, culture and tradition, social life, business, religion, technology and politics. We are Venus Online Radio. Our source.
Okay. Amukurukeyo omukarango akakutwabaterumu kandi mutusasara ubwo byabaho konka, of course those are technical issues nabyo nabaho. So twagaruka ha discussion yetu turiyo tuganira aha kuongeza kwa data band, rather kushara kwa data bundles kandi emihende kagumaniye because initially ko kushara kintu katugire ngo wano akasake tukomonyo wakashara mu at least kakaba kabiri zizire 100 grams akatukoze sito abanya Uganda. So kadje ngo wakora nka 50 grams at least no kakora nka shinje bina ninga bitano kugira ngo no muntu kiyagura nikijo musente za twire na ngweno amanyire nkatu wareka shirinje 10 kandi ukanguza 50 grams hati nyonko munya Uganda nimba nareba ngo ibintu byakora shi byakara. So as we continue with the discussion, Bob, yes, iwe noreba ngo ebintu ebimbestwara hi or kutereza ninga shorukeza munya Uganda we forward noreba ngo ntuzahi ya byabireho ko byabireho. So omnya Uganda ninga shi government ekoreshi ninga shiwe nko muntu already koreshi
noreba mushaho mu speed ogo ativo sitachara kugera tukumbereba weni nyowe kano kagamba okumbereba nindeba ngo abanya Uganda eshongeji yabire nkuru munonga prices zagire hayi mureke turebo kutwabona priorities ninga shi choices ninga shi options esitora base taking up. If you've been using data for online business, then ukagaruka kashanga you're even using it for fun and entertainment, then learn how to regulate yourself. No shango muntu just nagora data kuwatchinga TikTok, kureba videos za TikTok akashimbirebwa izo barikarengo we, and I would feel that would be a disadvantage to him or her or to his or her pocket abuko washanga everyday no kwano yetaga emitwaro nkebiri yo gumana ogora data kuri video ya TikTok, then really nono bad disadvantage
abantu bakwitwa stress
to kwitwa stress ekitaro tukireza mwana kandi hatari umugato nurya muhugo kakaguto kwatora nagamo
wathamasuko
naba hamasuko bwenu no you regulating ujuro tata
your government yo kwagera no jabura ki
of course government kwagera
tureba iwe nkomnyeto ryo no ijo mukamara mutoma nare no muhandike no mweta vice president ngwa endorsing president Museveni now kandi ICT basically ne yambitwe minyeto because na wateka president a Twitter akahandika takumanya dato kweru kugura at the end of the day it comes back
no
advising cause kutaho policies zichi eza kutuyamba toba kumanya kandi mwenu tine empo abaryo parliament rather minister arikubuza atabantu no bagura master.
Of course some MPs or some people twaza nshonga ya nature versus nature ninga character. Some of them are humorous. According to their character no bakunde ibintu bimwe munonga ninga comedy kushesya abanya Uganda na munonga ndaneshonga yeri mo wa Steve kandi arikoreba ngo ruhone tunyiga nk'abanya Uganda kwenda kubaha amasuko ayenda gikore mo wa comic kwenda ngo uburyo mwakabona y'amasuko agera ati with time haturaho change eje mbera nergaho tugaragaye no mowe. So I would advise the current government ninga stage government eyinkwagera kandi yindiyo ninshaba ninyigiriza buri zoba ngo mukuru wihanga bacuruho for another term of service. I would advise ngo barebe na munonga through the Ministry of ICT, of course nebe bya internet na UCC and as well as Bank of Uganda, because I believe there is some attachment of this
Bank
companies.
of Uganda tukafunira governor.
So of course there is an ad hoc governor who is in office. Ningo kwa kuja ngo mwishomero head teacher yargaho yazo mu workshop ninga yafa tentatively someone must take over even if the deputy cannot handle but the boss can do something. So there is an ad hoc governor. So I would feel those three organs zitamezerebe ntuchumanya nuko economy yitu nka Uganda now stunted. It is one thing. We are facing trials and troubles every now time and then konga eshitamerebe how it can liaise with these companies ezukutuhereza data no manya bakaba chinjiro Facebook sometime back.
It is
in
off
Uganda
up to now.
Even up to now it is off to access it.
Those who are accessing it, you are doing it illegally.
Of course you use VPN
and you must actually
so
echiragiro chohwiri waza kozesa ibintu bimwe must consent. So Uganda kwere yarwana na Facebook mba kujikozesa makuzungubaga nakwijaha bato mukoti za Uganda musashure sente.
So those organs I've mentioned stamez liaising with these telecommunication companies. We see how cheaply
noreba ya masiko given. Do you see any hope coming our way?
Of course twena masiko twinegajera habwo kuba we need a life to live na nanchakare ati ninko kuwa kujeroti otinyine masiko nchakare na ninkubaho unobaza kuteka de kutinchakare tumura imeidai njake nibaza kwimukafire ntaruho but every day we must live with that hope. For successful people you must be optimistic and hopeful that there is a better life coming. So as organizers rising with telecommunication companies, they see how cheaply they can make our data bundles or internet bundles. However, I wouldn't wish or advise my fellow people to relax kandi bakajango bategereze government ahira akorecho echechi kiriye cha you and I abokoresa internet. We need to know the importance of internet, we need to know the importance of data and how we can use data efficiently kandi turukweregulatinga tukamakinga sure ngo our need for using that data is well utilized and achieved.
Wewe mnonga Bob urukuheza urukugambe bigambo byabo bya muhero. What do you say about the newly introduced Computer Misuse Act that was recently signed by the President of the Republic of Uganda?
Well, of course
ne kwatara na social media kwatara na computer hatinka hati kuno jirangu timbanze kushaba ngo ije nkuteko mu computer anje ngwate chishani cha ogambe nkwatira karya. I am not supposed to do that.
You are not supposed to.
But the fact ngompire consent ncho turi ahantu gani. What do you say about that?
Ebinte mubi ni advantage.
Aho kubantu ntwire ninkureba no handika mbikutu.
Kandi noreba ngo harebe inchuru kwandika ndebinta churu kwandika. Now of course everything has an advantage and a disadvantage. We are trying to raise down and put a ban or a stop on those people who use social media kugambe bitakwatirine kujumera habantu where we all deserve freedom of speech but we should not use it to insult people. One philosopher said disagreements are normal but when you disagree in a fight and abuse you are more or less a fool. Nuri musuru wasenga okakanana no kujura busuru your stupidity it is okay, you are right to be stupid.
Abanyamakuru bakine mirimo because
of course their market was in that
no basa kutera ekishani kyawe posting otwaronchinga akaguta vision 40 omuri kiruhura but the fact that tinyine rusa rwawe rwo kukihayo kuhandika story nkagita Venus online radio nanta kushabere rusa nakitayo you have a right to sue Venus online radio na basically ejo story bayiraine yeyine no jangwe abanyamakuru bakino umurimo
ecyo cyakora journalism mu esco ko twirori journalist woguza urugambo rube bite bitucera kura agahurhuri amapura agahurhuri munaninda bahariya nareba motoka ya MP manya yaraba hastama mu and ningashi someone is at a function, the minister is dressed in a big coat, and you make that news because someone is dressed in a big coat or a big shirt, you make that one news. You forget about the instance of the function, but you now make the news on the dress code. So at journalism niza kuba more esco and professional, you will give us what we need to listen or watch, not what is your interest.
Kaninchira kureba no posting ebishanu bya general tafire mbweshika hino ubwo kubota mwine kando ka postinga. So how will you do that? Noza kubanza gumumutereso mukanda ryagati yabandi atakubasa
kukwasha kanso of course hariho platforms za social media and mutual understanding ejesha you may video call someone who is in South Africa muganire kanda kusinche bishanda kwereke cyaro ndakoregesha and agambira ati ndiyo ndinkoreki you can post about.
So you are okay with the act?
I'm very okay with it. On the grounds that we as Ugandans we deserve to have freedom of speech, but there is somewhere where we should stop.
Okay. Well, mnonga abimicha bobo egombi bya muhero abo kubaninjira akazinda nuza kubano karekurira cyumwe.
Bigambo byanje bya muhero aba mbatureba n'abambaturukiriza ntubasimo guma mutureba tusima Venus online radio kuba icyeke nacho it is some good icon of communication and information eriko baretera mwamanye mwe mbe mutakumanya ninga sumwahaza nabambe mumanya mukongera kubicenga. So tusima iyo moderator for hosting us kandi yongerana na kusima Barrier Foundation etire hedge setup you making sure ngo people babona information and they are more informed, because today without being informed you are nowhere,
you are doomed.
Ahandi mugume murije mwetantare okuzo omnyanya irma abantu bingi kirwara kicuruho endwara neyita
akakoko tuine hiyo tuine Ebola
na COVID na Ebola mubende bakacinga and more Saturday I have some eavesdrop Kamparamba basaji chinga race or otherwise if people cannot settle down. So endwara churuho kandi norendwara hatuziyonza gumanze yongera. So we need to be more effective and conscious with our lives. Ahandi nasigaranda abemigisha Bob Elite kambendeze ogumaje
wewe mnonga abemigisha Bob Elite kandi nkwe nawe yatate bitenso byeye kugira ngo iyo murebi or kureba Venus online radio ukagira ecyuwayega erizo batwaturiyo ntureba aha kushara data bundles ezi service providers zibayemba tuhera at certain amount. So nano kuchira affecting business community om Uganda abajenyi nabanyine abemicha Bob Elite kandi na Imperial Davis or Izana Digital Solutions. Davis ombigambo byawo bya muheru yuwe abanya Uganda no bahereza amaskochi tandikiraho
bo bari mnonga kandi nyenda kubanza kwibaza my colleague on the panel Bob wobare for those beautiful words and encouraging words and ukishiransho ngai wambuza nakugambire ho in the previous session groups z'abantu zikuza kuba affected na neitiriontuza ekikubanza kwamiza abanya Uganda no kugira ngo omunya Uganda unkumanya emihendo ya internet no byafutemba when naija gumana ko sa internet icyo cyo ndushuha but that will come at a cost abokuba enyuma ho tukageraho challenges zo mu covid yo abantu ntugira mu breaks za internet on and off nachi konka kuzabezigarukaho regardless of the price and the terms and conditions abantu bona yo bari amikutu immediately bakabagarukaho. So nchikwereka ngo Uganda nabasubitija ku rwa internet konka naija guma internet koka hareke kuza kumu affecting ekindi abo kuba noza kushanga ngo akasenta kakubenkagire kikakora harwaju ukwe developing nko muntu abantu abine families abana bine abo kweshomesa abo kwehera tuition abantu abine small enterprises zo matawuni noza kushanga ngo akasenta kakubenka zoko yazi investment bona bakateka ahamikutu aho kuba Uganda nachikunda social media kana ajikunda mnonga. So regardless of these prices being hiked Uganda when aija kuguma social media, but it will come at a cost. So advice saying kubahereza no kugira ngo eje mihendo kera atembe ni to regulating mu nkozesa ya internet kora abo bere no kosa internet eshayi 12 hati adjusting amukosesha hankina ningita.
Will that be possible sincerely?
Of course hati we are putting up what we call tentative remedies for the meantime as we are looking for a bigger solution. Abokuba emihendo kera atembe and you live outside your means ni bija kukuma either no bija kuiba no data no bakukuma. So the question is, are you going to still go grade data ningo reducing esha za internet to save money?
Ninga no kushanga wakora expenditure yawe
yayiyongera. So then on the other hand ubwo no muntu waburijo wahansi ayakubasa kubatine man go kuhindura amateka gebintebe. Then naza kuzaha government inobushobozi ninga shay no authority over these things nyone njabere kintu kimwe regulating these foreign entities abantu abakurugahero bakinvesting mu Uganda in terms of telecom companies and they come in many colors. So ever regulating kandi as a country we should have at least in a payback to our citizens, because to me if I'm a citizen of Uganda ndukushashora mushoro I would expect at least kufuna access ya mizi for starters, ngafuna access ya mashanyarazi, then na trend hato kwizire mu ya internet okashanga I have cheap access to internet services. They might not be entirely free, but at least they should be subsidized by the government. Abokwa these systems that we live on as a country, they were adopted sometime back by our the colonialists were back. So we tried to copy and paste, but it came at a cost of a poor Ugandan at the end of the day, because waza kureba these people abuto abantu reberaho kwa adopting a system zawo za government, kwa adopting okuba kujwara, okuba adopting okuba kusoma, okuba the curriculum of the schools, and I wish we should have that topic soon, Mr. Moderator.
We shall
it's
have
a very
to
sensitive
look at
issue
it.
Also. Because
if our to chip in small, if we had a good curriculum system, you wouldn't be struggling to go in the actual education institutions of this country.
So what I'm trying to say,
doing what you're doing,
all these systems we copied them and brought them into our own country. Possibly there were many reasons, we might not go into that, but we became so rigged that we didn't adjust. Twaza kureba the people we look up to, like these developed countries, they have a different way of doing their things, and at times you wonder, I want to know what colonizing they really. People have access to free internet, people have access to clean water, people have sustainable,
and most of our politicians have taken their wives and their children to go and stay there and study from there.
If you to look at the healthcare systems and all that. So my question that usually perturbs me is, if we are to copy these systems, why can't we really do the actual copy and paste? Why is it that when we get these systems to our countries, now the common man is being exploited, at the cost of the government?
But so, by the way, Davis,
yes,
something small. In 2016, Ministry of ICT introduced free internet.
Yes.
In all towns. It started in Kampala. It worked for only one day until of recent when it came back, and it is actually in most of the towns, actually most of the government facilities, and I think some few companies, in the individual owned companies. Now, if you look at that 2016, it is now 2022. It's when something that was actually started in years ago that it has started working. Where do you see the future of ICT in Uganda when you base on that?
When you talk of the future of ICT, before we come to maybe the solutions I was trying to enlighten, I think we lack the infrastructure. However much we want to have these things implemented, the question is the infrastructure. You talked about the recent passed law against so the social media and all that. As Bob was saying, I want to disagree with him a bit.
Yes.
It's going to be very hard to implement some of these laws. Passing them is easy, but we don't have the infrastructure. Even the person that wants to sue you for misusing your media handle can barely afford data. How will he afford a lawyer? How will he afford to go to police even to sue you and all that? So we lack the infrastructure, we lack the resources. Actually, even in the government, the Ugandans that I know, they are very good at social media and they can really disorganize you. So if you're to consider implementing this law, we require as a country what we might call a high-end infrastructure to implement these laws. How are you going to track someone that has sent a text that maybe is against the law? People are using, even the identification has been a problem. The database of the IDs has been a problem.
Actually, away from the nearer stuff, I was discussing with a police officer. They introduced cameras, but then they don't have a software for face recognition in this country.
Leave alone that. You see, when you talk about cameras now, there you come into my field. It's going to be a whole chapter of another day. But what I can say,
yes,
there must be the different dots of the infrastructure should be complete. You can, if you're to have set up a law, there should be systems to follow it up and implement it. If you're to talk about CCTV cameras, as you said, you need a database that is very authentic with people registered under their identifications,
yes,
so that you are able to track. So if you don't do that, you will end up tracking ghosts at the end of the day because the structure is not complete.
Because on that very matter, I saw a police officer struggling with a picture taken by a camera, putting it on different social media platforms, saying this person is a thief.
And when you look at, okay, I'm getting off what we're discussing, but it is also necessary for today's discussion. You look at the refugees that we are having in Uganda. So it's going to be very hard if you want to implement systems and you still have free exit, free entry of the country like that. So you will have even criminals in the country that cannot
disguising as
they won't be tracked anywhere. Actually, someone will even come into Uganda,
commit a crime, go back.
He will put up a tweet in Uganda, which is against the law you're saying. He's not even a citizen of Uganda. Where he is from, probably he has immunity, or he's not even tracked from
there.
Is
that why they are calling for East African integration?
When that comes in,
where borders are normal,
that will require a new policy to govern the whole region. But we are talking about the country now that we are having. My very concern for this for today's topic is about lacking the infrastructure to implement all this. When we go back to the solution of having a cheap internet, the government can actually afford if they really want it, but they have to invest in the internet infrastructure that is needed, and they have to involve all stakeholders at all levels.
Do we have that money as a country?
As a country, I think we have more than enough, because if we are to talk about how people are earning and all that, it's also a challenge.
Recently, the Minister for Finance, Honorable Matia Kasaija, was crying that we are running bankrupt as a country.
Yeah, we could be, but I think that is a problem of having the wrong priorities. When you invest in, you can be bankrupt if you don't have the right priorities, because if the government, as it is, the way we know it, if it was investing in the right priorities, most of these problems would be handled at the local level actually, because it starts from down and it is a whole chain that goes up. So it's something that needs restructuring from the bottom to the up level. So perhaps when we get time, we shall tackle different sectors and how they are facing challenges.
How do you
and
see
all that.
private sector, mostly companies and individuals that are operating on internet? Where do you see them going? Then maybe from that you can give
okay.
a solution.
When you talk of a private entity, I'll give an example. I run a private business. So if the cost of marketing my products is high as a result of what we are discussing,
it comes back to the
consumer,
end user.
to the end user. You're getting it right. It will come back there, and it won't be my problem because I will have to include that cost, because in the long run I will incur it while marketing online. So the private institution will survive, but for a short time, because in the long run we shall end up losing clients because we are hiking prices as a
and
result
you pull out of the market.
Yes, and then when we pull out of the market, perhaps we shall join the opposition to disturb the government. So there's a lot that is really that can come out of this. But we pray so much that we don't get there. But as I conclude, the government needs to put up, more regulations.
These are people who do not know the cost of data, because I'm sure most of these people in government don't know.
And we are playing that role of informing them through this show, through Venus Radio, through Barriera Foundation, to pass on information so that the viewers out there can get this information straight from the horse's mouth. For us that put up, that load this data, we understand how costly it is. So it is our role that we are playing now, that we inform the government, and it knows. Actually, they do know the cost, but as he said, some of them at a certain point, they just choose to be comic and give it a blind eye.
They want to be on Zungururu.
Yes, but we are reminding them. This is a show of passing on information.
Okay.
Yeah.
You talked about the complications the government will meet while implementing the Computer Misuse Act.
Yes,
that was recently passed.
Exactly.
Maybe to give some little highlight on what your thought is about that very act, since you are into computer so much.
First of all, you cannot allow people to be online, access all the social media platforms, build up follow-ups for a decade or more. Then in a few months you come and say, now I want to regulate how you operate and how you... It's like beginning a school. You must set policies of that school, how it is run right from the beginning. So you cannot have a school running for 10 years. Then people have, let's say the kids have been going out freely, coming in, using drugs and all that. Then after 10 years, I'm coming to that. After 10 years you say, you know what, now no more escaping, no more using drugs, no more doing this and that.
Introduce new policies.
New policies on a generation that has been in that school for the past 5 years or 6 years. So that will begin with a new generation.
There will be resistance.
There will be resistance, and that has to begin afresh with a new generation, with perhaps closing and reopening the school. Closing and reopening the school, and then now I bring the question back to you. As a country, before we get to that, do you see that law being implemented based on that example I've given?
Of course, it will bring challenges. Like I was going to tell you something. Police has CCTV cameras. When they have a criminal they are looking for, they usually put their pictures picked from the CCTV footages, and then they put them across their social media platforms. That means if that criminal, the alleged criminal comes out and says, okay, police, you have used my picture without my consent, that is a case.
But of course a criminal now cannot sue the police. Already, if you're a criminal, you ripped off your rights.
I'm showing you the complications that the government is going to meet.
Yes, to be realistic and to be honest, I see this law not being effective. Reason being, it is something that has to be built from the roots. you have to tell all Ugandans, get off all your social media platforms. We shall introduce new platforms, perhaps with other partners, with other companies. When you subscribe or when you are opening up an account on certain account, on
You
certain
register
online,
with UCC.
you register with the UCC. These are the procedures, and then we shall monitor you and regulate what you text. Now, how are you going to? What if I do? We usually get reminders on Facebook, memories 4 years back. What if I get a memory 4 years back that was maybe abusing the government? Now, are you suing me for the reminder of the Facebook that has brought?
Which I'm not actually.
Even Facebook tells me to share the memory. Now you're saying, am I being incriminated for that in that current time? Or when you take it back, I will be innocent. When you consider it now, I will be guilty. So how do you go about that?
Handle it together with Facebook.
You see, so it's a lot. Then another thing to add on that, we are not independent as a country, as we really think when it comes to the infrastructure of these the tech companies. There are many players in the market. Some players have policies, they sign agreements with the government. Talk of Facebook, Twitter and all other players in the market. The Amazon and whoever is in the online business, they have their own policies that govern their companies. So however much the government wants to implement, there must be a line of agreement with those companies. So that's why I was telling you, the government must have its own standard in order to meet the requirements of the companies,
yes,
and be on good terms with the population.
Do you think this act will end up disturbing or bringing issues to the ICT sector in this country?
I think it is business as usual. The ICT has been at loggerheads with the population, with the government so many times. To me, I think this will be business as usual. And perhaps might be an opportunity for someone that that sees it as a project to be implemented.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Imperial Davis and Avemi Chabob. Your last words?
My last words, I would say that we all have a role to play. We, the users of internet, the government has a role to play, and even the foreign investors have a role to play in this. We give them business; they must make their terms favorable. The government has a role to play towards its citizens, regulating these companies, and we, the citizens as well, we must play our role too. Because, as I said, before the government regulates us, we can also have some bit of self-check the way we use internet in order to manage the day-to-day living, because the government might take some good years to have all this sorted, but we must ensure that on a personal level we are able to survive.
Okay, thank you very much. That's our discussion for today, and my guests have been Imperial Davis and Avemi Chabob. We are still on Venus Online Radio and it's Venus Talks, and that's how we have concluded today's show. Remember, we've been powered by Wonders Products. Wonders Products are the makers of Wonders Petroleum Jelly, Wonders Herbal Jelly, Wonders Sanitizer, and then other cosmetics. If you want to get them in Ushenyi, go to any shop and you'll have all these products, or supermarket, you have these products as you need them. Of course, we have also been powered by Venus Media. This is our mother company, mother to Venus Online Radio. They have a lot of things they are doing. They do audio and video production. They do TV and radio adverts. They train DJs, those who do club DJing or TV or radio DJing. You can find them in Tank Hill, opposite National Art and Surge Corporation. And then we have been powered by Bariara Foundation. Bariara Foundation is a project that is aiming at society transition, and of course we thank the founder, Bariara, Council Marvin Bariara. We thank you for the initiatives you are bringing to our society. It has been Venus Talks, and I've been Isaac Nahamia. Till next Saturday, same time, same place. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Venus Online Radio. Just look for it on YouTube and subscribe. Share the videos. If you see something tangible in whatever we discuss on Venus Talks, share the video to your friends, to your relatives, to anyone, so that we can keep on growing and growing our audience. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter, still Venus Online Radio. And remember, we are also on online. Check on Zeno Radio. You just download the app and search for Venus Online Radio. We'll be there playing adverts and of course music, good music that can help you relax your mind. Till next time, God bless you. Bye bye.
Culture and tradition. Social life. Business. Religion. Technology and politics.